Pirates, cursed gold, creatures from the ocean's darkest waters, scenes we know by heart, and, of course, Captain Jack Sparrow. A 5-film series, first released in 2003, it's one of the world's biggest franchises. A massive phenomenon that grossed over $4.5 billion, rewriting the rules of Hollywood. How did one of the world's most beloved franchises transform into a monster that devours its own creators? Who was the true loser in the battle between Johnny Depp and Disney? What happened to the Pirates of the Caribbean series? Let's turn our compass to the past and take a closer look at the franchise's improbable rise, Disney's greed, and how they squandered Captain Jack Sparrow, one of the 9 pirate lords. Let's go back to the beginning of the 90s. Back then, the word most feared by Hollywood producers was pirate. The 1995 film, Pirate Island, flopped so badly it bankrupted its studio. No one dared to make a pirate film. Disney had that famous Disneyland theme park ride, Pirates of the Caribbean. For years, they wanted to make a movie about it, but no one would agree. Until producer Jerry Bruckheimer and the screenwriters added a supernatural element to the story. Cursed pirates who turned into skeletons in the moonlight. But the real gamble was casting. The studio wanted to secure supporting roles. Orlando Bloom, the girls' favorite at the time, who had become a global star in The Lord of the Rings, was perfectly suited for the role of Blacksmith Turner. Keira Knight, still in the prime of her career at 17, was chosen for the female lead, Elizabeth Sven. The person who would change the film's fate was the one everyone was skeptical of, Johnny Depp. When Johnny Depp read the script, he refused to play the character as a classic hero. To him, pirates were 18th-century rock stars. He delivered a legendary performance, walking drunk and slurring his words, inspired by Rolling Stones guitarist Keith Richards. His character, Keith Richards, would play Captain Jack Sparrow's father in the sequels. When the first footage arrived at Disney headquarters, executives went crazy. They told Johnny Depp, "You're ruining the movie." Depp's response was clear: "Either trust my choices or fire me." And it's a good thing they didn't. Curse of the Black Pearl, released in 2003, wasn't just a show, it was a magnificent story. Johnny Depp even received an Oscar nomination for this film. To briefly summarize the plot of Curse of the Black Pearl, the ship hijacked by Captain Barbossa and its cursed crew need one last gold coin and the blood of its owner to break the Aztec curse on them. That blood is Elizabeth Sven's blood. Sven's lover, Blacksmith Turner, must team up with the mad pirate Jack Sparrow. A simple, impressive, and flawless adventure. The film grossed $654 million worldwide. The film, called Sink, became legendary. The success of the first film whetted Disney's appetite, and 2 sequels were immediately commissioned. 2 massive productions, one after the other. Dead Man's Chest was released. The story was deepening. Captain Jack Sparrow owed a blood debt to David Jones, captain of the Flying Dutchman. To save his soul, he had to find the chest where Davy Jones had hidden his heart. Will and Elizabeth would be drawn into this adventure. The Davy Jones character we know in this film had some of the best visual effects in cinema history. The film broke box office records, breaking the $1 billion mark, and becoming the highest-grossing film in the series. Just a year later, in 2007, At World's End arrived. This time, the story was darker. Our heroes would travel to the other side of the world, into Purgatory, to rescue the GEK. Will and Elizabeth's story came to a tragic yet satisfying conclusion with this film. Gore Verbinski, the director of this legendary trilogy, abandoned ship. Verbinski argued that the story of Will Turner and Elizabeth Sven was over. Jack Sparrow wasn't the main character who could carry a film on his own. He believed he should be the spice that added flavor to the dish. If you tried to use Sparrow's spice as a main dish, the dish would be spoiled. The original trilogy is at its peak. It was over. And now we come to the film that many people were discussing, but we have to give it credit for. The 4th film was Stranger Tides. Will and Elizabeth were gone from the story. They were gone. Disney put all the weight on Jack Sparrow. He also put Angelica, aka Penelope Cruz, who had an ancient vaccine. What was the theme this time? the legendary race to find the Fountain of Youth. On one side were the Spanish, on the other Barbossa, who had joined the British Navy, and on the other, Blackbeard, history's most fearsome pirate, and his daughter Angelica. Jack Sparrow, meanwhile, was caught between three fires, once again pursuing his own interests. Critics didn't like the film. They said it was looking for those old, massive ship battles. The film was very popular with audiences. The tense scenes with the mermaids were especially popular. Let's be honest. This film grossed over $1 billion, making it the second highest grossing film in the series. This showed that audiences loved watching Jack Sparrow alone. The brand was still strong. Disney waited a full 6 years after the success of the fourth film. As you know, in situations like this, they usually try to make the series forgotten, only to make a grand comeback. In 2017, the fifth film, Salazar's Revenge, was released. The story goes like this. Will Turner's son, Henry, has grown up and is searching for Poseido's trident to lift his father's curse. Meanwhile, Captain Salazar, the ghost hunter who escaped the Devil's Triangle and swore to destroy the pirates, will hunt down Jack Sparrow for the cape. It looks great on paper, but behind the scenes, things were disastrous. During filming, Johnny Depp's personal life was in disarray. The Australian set was in chaos, with Depp injuring his hand, late arrivals, and disciplinary issues. Meanwhile, Johnny Depp's hand injury forced a 2-week delay, costing Disney approximately $5 million in losses. When the film released, audiences also noticed something strange about Jack Sparrow. That clever, cunning pirate was gone, replaced by a tired, constantly drunk man who survived by sheer luck. The film still made a profit, but the magic of the series seemed to have faded somewhat. The ship was starting to leak. Then work began on the sixth film. But that was the expected end. In 2018, the famous article written by Johnny Depp's ex-wife, Amber Heard, was published in the Washington Post. Although no names were mentioned, the target was clear. Just 4 days after this article, Disney executives declared they would bring new energy to the franchise, removing Johnny Depp's face from the ship. To protect its billion-dollar brand, Disney threw its face out of the ship. We all know what happened next: live-stream trials, leaked audio recordings, and fan-initiated petitions for millions of dollars. Johnny Depp was vindicated in court. He rebuilt his damaged reputation, but his bridges with Disney had long since been burned. What did he say in that famous statement? Let's briefly recall it. Even if Disney came to me with $300 billion and a million alpacas, I wouldn't return to that series. If you ask what Disney did during this period, there was, and still is, a complete panic. Meanwhile, a film focusing on female pirates starring Margot Robbie was announced. Then it was cancelled. Then it was announced again, and then cancelled again. Later, an idea was floated with new stories and new characters to reboot the series with a young cast. Then it took off. Disney painfully realized that the ship wouldn't sail without Captain Jack Sparrow. Because they saw this. Pirates of the Caribbean meant Captain Jack Sparrow. Captain Jack Sparrow meant Johnny Depp. So, whatever the situation is in December 2025, series producer Jerry Bruckheimer is still keeping the door open. He's doing everything he can to reconcile Johnny Depp and Disney. There's also a script on the table. There's talk of a very strange but brilliant script written by Craig Mason, the creator of Chernobyl and The Last of Us, which Disney has purchased and is considered fantastic. But would that film be made without Johnny Depp? And if it is, whether it will be seen, that's definitely a mystery. Pirates of the Caribbean, born from an amusement park ride, achieves the impossible. It was proof that Hollywood, a nation that generates billions of dollars, can triumph by taking risks. But it also fell victim to a studio's ambition to slaughter the goose that lays the golden egg and squeeze every last drop out of it. Do you think the series should return, or should the legend remain intact? I'm looking forward to your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more cinematic stories like this. See you in the next video. Stay tuned.